Hey everyone, I appreciate you loungers for coming in today. It is Sunday, and I just wanted to talk briefly about spirituality and what that means for me. Okay, how I no longer ascribe to religion, and why I don't, and what I am now called, or what I consider myself, which is spiritual, and what that means in regards to the differences for me and religion. Okay, so let's get into that. Well, good evening, loungers. I hope everybody is doing great. So, I'm going to get right into this, okay? I just wanted to talk a little bit about my spirituality and what it means for me, okay? Shout out to Dr. Bombay. He had a really great show today, and he was talking a little bit about this, and he wanted to know kind of the differences between spirituality and religion, okay? So, for me, I definitely did some mind pondering after that. I definitely kind of dug deep into that question and even did some research on the two today. What I came to is that I believe that both are similar. I just think that there is a distinct difference in religion as to individuals who are a part of a religion generally would subscribe to a certain set of rules or a certain set of beliefs in order to achieve a higher atonement or achieve a higher relationship with the divine being, no matter what that divine being's name is. Okay. So, for instance, a Christian believes in Christ. Somebody who is a Buddhist would believe that Buddha is the highest being. Somebody who's Muslim believes in Allah and they believe that the Prophet Muhammad is the prophet. And there's various different ideas and thought processes for religions. But ultimately, what I've seen in growing up in the Jehovah's Witnesses, as well as studying various religions from Islam to Christianity to other religions, I've noticed that, and that's actually afforded me the opportunity to see that most of these religions just kind of just lead you all to the same path. Okay. Even though some of them are distinctly different, as well as some of them don't even believe that they have anything to do with the other. Okay, but again, if you study various religions, if you study various topics on religion, regardless of what the name of it is, you would see pretty much the most similar stuff in religions. Okay, for instance, I did a video a few days ago about the Jehovah's Witnesses, and I put a link in there to what's called the bite model. Most religions in the world actually follow the bite model in some way, shape, form, or fashion. So the difference for me with spirituality was, and like I said, I'm not going to be long. I don't think it takes much to explain this, or for me anyway. The difference for spirituality for me is I'm not ascribe or subscribe to any particular belief system. Okay. I do have certain beliefs. I do have a certain way of thinking, but it comes from me and I am able to freely go about in that thinking. There's nobody that I have to that's questioning me on that. There's no one that I have to go and attend. I don't have to attend some meeting every Sunday or attend some building every Sunday or even tune into some show every Sunday in order for me to get a word from my divine. And that's where I'm at. And also, there are atheists who are spiritual for me. Now, spirituality to me actually means that I am completely in tune with my conscious self. So I understand my abilities as a divine being. I understand the universe being an infinite place. And even with that, that doesn't mean that I completely understand the vastness of that. Okay. I don't think in this side of life that I would ever really fully grasp the vastness of the universe. But I do think that there is an infinite universe. I think that it's all connected. And I think that it's connected with my melanin and yours. Okay. And I also think I think, a great deal of things. But with that, I believe in metaphysics and I believe in the usage of these things and the usage of these things to create various outcomes in life. Okay. And that's what I believe. I don't honestly believe that comes from a higher power per se. Well, I think it does because it could connect to a higher power from me. But I can't say that everyone feels that way because I know plenty of people who think, who use crystals, they're into divination. Um, but they believe they are the higher being. And that's okay to me. It makes sense to me that they do. Even though I do still believe that there is a higher power. So I think those are kind of the differences for me with spirituality. And I hope that makes sense to somebody. Now, what I wanted to get into was the myths of how spiritual people carry themselves or how they should carry themselves. Because there's a lot of myths out here about how witches should behave or how spiritual people should carry themselves. Now, definitely any person, no matter what religion you ascribe to, no matter what you're doing, you should always try to strive for your higher self. You shouldn't be trying to every day continuously subscribe to the BS. But one of the beauties for me of not being a part of a religion, okay, was the ability to be myself and not be ascribed to a certain way of or a certain lifestyle or a certain way of talking, a certain way of carrying myself because I can only be myself, okay? But me being myself does not mean that somehow me being myself would negate my ability to provide, spiritual guidance for someone. Okay. For instance, and I'll give you guys an example of that. Most people believe that Jesus, okay, was this perfect being who absolutely had no blemishes whatsoever. Okay. He never had sex with a woman. He's never done anything. He's never gotten angry. He never had any kind of, he just always turned the other cheek. He never did anything like, and this is why it's so easy for people to follow Christ because they believe that he's just innocent of everything. Now, I've been one who's read other books on Jesus. So for me, I've been aware that Jesus was actually a married man. He had a couple wives, he had a couple things going on. And that would make much more sense to me for a person who is living on earth, and has lived as a teenager, lived, as everything else. That would make complete sense to me that this person has actually gone through real life issues, okay, and real circumstances so that they can really relate to people, okay? And then from where those people are, they can meet that person. So everybody, and Jesus had his set of people that he could meet with or he could meet at that time, okay? So, everybody who is a spiritual leader or who sets out and does spiritual work, every person has their own niche of people that would connect to their spirit and connect to their divine, okay? There is no one size fits all for everybody when it comes to this this story of spirituality or this story of religion, okay? There really just is not. And it becomes an argument, literally. It can become an argument with people on, oh, well, if you see this pastor wearing Timbs, you know what I'm saying, then you can't listen to his message. Or if you see this sister cussing somebody out, then you can't listen to that message. But you're missing out on the message by looking at the outside or looking at the surface. When in actuality, the Bible, the Quran, and every other religious book, if you're into religion, will tell you that in the last days, even the children will prophesy, okay? Even the rocks will cry out. The word is going to come out regardless of who it's coming from, regardless of the vessel. And we should stop paying so much attention to the vessel and listen to the message. If it's a message intended for you, it's going to fall on your ears regardless of who the message is coming from. If the message is not intended for you, it's going to bother your spirit, which is why you should tune out. Now, I'm going to leave that at that. But I just wanted to say that I definitely appreciate people who are themselves and are able to speak their truth when it comes to spirituality or when it comes to religion. One of the beauties of not being a Jehovah's Witness anymore, like I said, is the ability to be myself, the ability to say a couple cuss words if I feel like it, the ability to jump up and down, and you understand, and have fun if I feel like it, the ability to not be so rigid. Okay. And I think that's what has been a stumbling block for many people, whether it's in the church or whether it's anywhere in life. If you are a certain way, or if you talk a certain way, or if you carry yourself a certain way, or if you have slept with this many men, or if you have slept with this many women, then somehow you are now not qualified to be a spiritual leader. That's something to ponder. That's really something to ponder, because there are no perfect people anywhere, regardless of what these books are telling you. None. And if it doesn't make sense, it's probably not true. You understand what I'm saying? Like when it comes to stuff like that. So we make it really difficult on ourselves sometimes when it comes to spirit, because we reject messages from regular people. And I just wanted to say that, I've heard even messages about some people, how, there was a woman who does tarot cards. It's not me, but it was a woman who does tarot, and she was twerking. And I was like, so what? You know what I mean? What does that have to do with tarot readings? What does that have to do with a prophecy or a message? It doesn't matter if she was twerking, but I get it. I understand. But we got to stop putting these labels on each other, and we have to stop putting these banners on one another, because and one thing, shout out to JJ. He said something really important too. I really appreciated this. He said that if you can't tell somebody what an orange tastes like. I think he said, didn't say it exactly like this, but he said similar. He said, you can't tell somebody what an orange tastes like if you've never tasted it. You understand what I'm saying? So if you haven't experienced someone else's lifestyle, if you haven't experienced someone else's experience, you can't speak on their experience. You can't speak on it and have them explain their experience to you, because you haven't experienced it. You can explain it to them. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I can explain something to you, but I can only explain it from me. You understand what I mean? Because somebody else's idea of spirituality, or how they are attaining their spirituality, is their way. You get it? Like, there's no one size fits all for this. There's no, if you're a pastor, or if you're a priest, or if you're a witch, or whatever, you have to be carrying yourself like X, Y, and Z. There's nothing like that out there. And, I think it's high time to have those types of conversations, open up the door for that. And yeah, that's what I wanted to say about that. But I'm going to let you guys go. I did put in a oracle reading for you guys. I also did a Crystal 101 today. So you guys make sure you check that out. Hey, Money to Burn. Shout out to you. Living life to the fullest. You said, hey, to Money to Burn. And TMK, I appreciate you coming in. That was a great show you did. Excellent topic. And definitely, I wanted to touch on those things, but it definitely wasn't for that. But I appreciate you putting that out there, because that was a really important topic. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and end this. I appreciate all of you who are tuned in, and also those in the clouds, and also those who will catch the replay. You guys make sure you have a wonderful week, and I will talk to you guys soon. Peace, guys.
dollar maker. Go ahead, make a dollar maker, dollar maker.